Day 3 of Royal Ascot, and now it starts to get really interesting. If there's no score on the board by this point, Charlie, I suppose it's time for concern.
For sure. As I always say, from the paddock to the saddling area, that hill there can get steeper by the day if you haven't had a winner. So hopefully we would have ticked one off by day 3.
Well, could Secret State be won in the King George V Stakes?
He's an interesting horse. As we know, he's a half brother to Line of Duty. So he's got a beautiful pedigree. He's been very much a late developer for ourselves as a 2-year-old, very weak individual, but given all the time that was needed, and has ran well since he started his career in the Wood Ditton. Ran a nice race there, finishing second. Following that up, stepping up to the 10 furlongs there at Chester, and again sort of doing his best work, I felt, towards the end. As we know, it's a heritage handicap there, so we have to get the 3 runs in, which is is testing for these horses, these unraced 3-year-olds, to get those runs in time. It probably wasn't the most ideal race, but we had to drop back to the mile at Nottingham, and again, it was his where the stamina I felt kicked in that he put the race to bed in the end, dropping back to the mile. So we are now reverting from a mile back up to the 1.5 miles, but I feel it's within his realm, and I'm hoping that we'll see further improvement, to be honest. I think he's a very interesting horse in the race.
Let's move on to the Ribblesdale, which is over 1.5 miles, 3-year-old fillies, Group 2. And Life of Dreams, is she going to take a chance in here?
Yes, she's a filly that obviously broke her maiden at Newbury, and then she followed that up with a creditable second in the Musadora behind the eventual Oaks second there in Emily Upjohn. On that day she was a little bit disappointing to ourselves, but she came at the race well. We toyed with whether to perhaps go a different route, but stepping up to the 1.5 miles there, we're confident of what we've seen at home. It's, we know her dam stayed well. She deserves to be in the race for sure, and I think she'll be a big player. She obviously doesn't take that much experience into it, but on the back of, like I say, what she achieved in the Musadora, she deserves to be there, and will run a big race.
Let's move on to the Britannia. It's over 1 mile on the straight course for 3-year-olds, always a hugely competitive handicap. You've got King of Time and Tranquil Night. Now, which do you prefer of those two?
Look, again, the Britannia is very much a similar sort of a 3-year-old event compared to the Royal Hunt Cup. There, it's very competitive, but I feel we've got 2 interesting horses there. A King of Time, who's unbeaten 3 from 3, son of Kingman there, who's been gelded, but done very little wrong. So he's the horse that, of course, holds that sort of excitement, because he's the unbeaten horse at the end of the day. He's got enough experience to go into a race like the Britannia. Tranquil Night is another character there that he's sort of started to cut his teeth on the all-weather, shall we say, and has progressed through. The step up to the mile certainly will suit him. So two horses I feel that should be very competitive. But if you're going to pick one of them, yes, the King of Time one, we'd imagine that would be William's choice for sure. And
when it comes to a race like this, you're really looking for a group horse in the handicap, aren't you? Because they're on the way up. This horse has that sort of profile, doesn't he? He does, and as a physical, he's done very well of late as well. So he has pleased us, and like I say, he's been purposely sort of left since Newmarket for this race. So he's been given the time to develop the early stage of his 3-year-old career, and one will see there where our next stage of development goes to. Well, talking of interesting handicaps, the Buckingham Palace Stakes, a handicap over 7 furlongs, 0 to 105. You've got both Path of Thunder and Silent Film here. Both got very interesting profiles. Yes, as you quite rightly say, interesting profiles. Both competed in Dubai and Bahrain during the course of the winter. Path of Thunder was a rock-solid campaigner in Dubai this winter. Came back at his first start at Leicester, a little bit disappointing, but felt that he probably did a little bit too well from his last run in Dubai. Came forward for that run and put in a very competitive run,
at York in the handicap there, you know, carrying a decent weight. So you know, he fits into the race with a nice profile, but he's, at the end of the day, he is going to be at the top of the weight, so it's going to be a challenge for him. Silent Film, he's a horse that was pretty faultless in what he's achieved so far. Completely different individual, lighter framed horse, but he's excited as a home of late. He's put some good work in, and again he is strengthening, should we say, but he's a horse that I'd say he's the dark horse of the pack, you know, because he has got that profile where he is, you know, he's on an upward curve, should we say.